Hello, friends, and welcome back to another episode of This Dev Life. This is a show where we talk about like developer day to day lives of developers, the challenges we face, and how we overcome them. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. So, today we have once again our guests in the house. Give it up for Dara.
Am I exactly a guest? You dare call me a guest on
What's
my show?
No, I.
Just kidding. Yeah, I'm the guest today, and it's actually nice to be back. We
Mhm.
had a fun discussion the last time, and I'm looking forward to today's episode.
Yeah. Uh, Once again, it's really nice to be on this side of the table and you on that side. So, yeah, I stole your show, and I'm
Yeah,
gonna
keep
keep it.
still, dude.
I'm
You
gonna
own
keep
it.
it. Yeah. So this week we'll be talking about like what we spoke about the last time,
Mm-hmm.
but like on the flip side, the last time we were talking about like what the experience for people joining a new team and trying to onboard and be part
Yeah,
of the system, to start getting to work and getting comfortable and stuff like that. But that's from the perspective of someone that is joining for the first time. Today we're going to be talking about something different, which is well, like the other side of it, which is um, bringing someone on board, onboarding someone. Last week we talked about stuff like being a buddy. When you join a new company, the buddy is going to be trying to get you comfortable and stuff, and we spoke more from like the recipient's perspective, the kinds of things that we would do to fit into the company or the system. This time around we'll be talking about the thing from a buddy perspective, how it is like buddying someone on a new team, or let's say you're a lead engineer, getting someone comfortable in the team.
yeah.
So, Mr. Dara, um, what has your experience been like bringing people on board?
Well, it's been ages ago, but I think I can still sort of relate to it. Well, I've not been a people manager for quite some time now, so it's fun to be on the individual contributor side of things.
Hmm.
Um, but my experience bringing someone on, well, I probably would not say it's been the smoothest, because most of the people I bring on board, that was when I was still running my own show, were people who were new, sort of newish in the space. So for someone like me, I like to bring in fresh blood to actually body them up to where I can sell them off. Not literally sell them off for money, but
Whoa.
where I can be proud of what we've been able to do together, and I can showcase them as someone I've been able to actually walk through the ropes of how the software development system works. So I probably say probably not the most refined one, but from time to time as I do it, it's been learning experiences. And of course, given that each person I onboard is also unique in terms of the personality they bring and the skill set they bring and their attitude to work, it makes the experience fun.
Ah, interesting. um so can you walk us through your process, like someone comes on board and
Mhm.
the person is new
Yeah.
and
So as a body, or as let me put it in the
no,
perspective
from a,
of,
from a body. Let's start from the
okay, from
body,
a
right?
body's perspective. From
Yeah.
a body perspective, I think there's not so much to prepare, to be honest, as a body. It's just you being available to answer questions and be able to guide this new person through. So as a body, I think what you should mostly look forward to is being open and being available. So you have a new person joining your team, or and maybe even another team, most likely your team. Your role in that sense is to be able to answer the questions and point such a new person in the right direction. For me, most of the people I've been buddied with is to be able to guide them through where to look for things. For example, where they need to the accesses they need. So, for example, I if I know, I'll use DevOps engineering as an example. I think most recently did that. Um, so, as a body DevOps engineer, and this almost applies to software engineering, core software engineering also, I would compare my access level to their access level in terms of things we work on together. Given we're in the same role, if you're not in the same role, it will be totally different. So I'll check, most likely, just have a brief call with them, check through what they currently have access to and what I think they should have access to, then list those things as most likely to do items for me, or tag the person who is supposed to be responsible for it. So let's say, for example, they need access to a particular subscription, and I'm not the one who is supposed to give them that access. I would have to write a note down to speak to this person to grant them the access they need to be able to do their jobs. Because most likely the first week, I think, is the most crucial for a new joiner to understand what the company is all about. So I think making them comfortable in that first week would be my major goal as a buddy. Of course, their manager is also there for them to be able to make them sort of feel welcome in the organization. But mostly for me is to be able to just handle them and point them to the right set of people to speak to if they get stuck. Hopefully not at whatever time. But I think more overall will be about availability and responsiveness.
So besides these things that you just mentioned, are there other things that you feel like a buddy has to or is responsible for?
Uh, I think mostly, to be honest, there's not so much they're responsible for because, to be truthfully honest, they are not the person's manager.
Hmm.
So there is probably minimal to be expected from them because ideally they also have their own deliverables they're supposed to work on also, not just bodying someone up. So, but I think mostly it's being available that matters, not so much be expected, except it's clearly stated in the onboarding playbook of the organization that as a body, you're supposed to do X, Y, Z for this person.
Yeah,
If it's not in
because
the playbook, there are no rules.
one of the things that you just mentioned about the person having deliverables, I mean, it's clear that if you're a buddy, it's also part of your OKRs for that period, right? They wouldn't do it if there's no budget for you to be a buddy at that moment, right? Like there is no space for you to have that. So, are you saying that being a buddy is not part of uh, one's daily tasks? Because this looks like, I mean, if you're assigned that, it's expected, right?
Yeah, maybe it's expected. Yeah, it's expected, yes. But yeah, I would say it's expected, but then depending on the organization also, this is where the culture of the organization also matters. If it's not uh something that is exactly assigned, you'll be like, oh, walk them through, we're done. But a standard organization at least should be able to provide that leeway or space. Say, okay, was supposed to deliver this week, but then I'm handling this person through the system, so I'm not gonna be able to do it. But then, as a body, you could still deliver and make the bodying your stretch commitment to say, hey, for any new developers joining, for any new person joining, I want to hold the hands through the system. I'm volunteering myself to do that, and I'll still deliver on my job.
Yeah, I mean that's cool because ultimately, if you are maybe assigned to being a buddy, it's expected that you also would be giving some space to do
Yeah,
that.
yeah, some
Uh,
flex time. Let's call it
and
flex
some
time.
time as well. Yeah. Uh, so I think one question I have here is: so you mentioned being available. Do you think it's just about being available, or like I'm just asking like how you would approach this matter, like from your perspective? Do you think it's like being just available or trying to get involved with making this person comfortable?
Uh,
How
I,
does it?
I would
How do you?
mostly say, yeah, being available to make them comfortable. So, say for example, you as a body, you've been through the system, you are in the system, you know who you spoke to your first day, your second day, your third day. So, you want to be asking this person questions. Have you gotten access to this? Have you spoken to HR? Have you spoken to this important stakeholder? Have you sent an email to this? Have you gotten the email access from the system? Have you set up your pension? Have you set up your leave system? All those little bit of question, which I ideally think should also be in the onboarding
Onboarding
playbook.
docs. Yeah.
That, oh, as a body, I'm supposed to do this. So maybe even you have a checklist as a body, which you could actually be a body superstar for the organization. So if there's not one, expect someone who's a body to actually maybe create one and open source it in the organization.
Yeah, because why I was asking this question is when you said being available, it looked like you just stay there and wait for questions. And then when the questions come from the person, and then you start to get involved.
Uh,
Um,
well, I didn't mean it directly that way. So, of course, I'll get involved, or I won't be in their nose, to be honest, to say, hey, have you done this? Have you done that? Probably in the morning, I have a check in. You're supposed to do XYZ today.
mhm.
And then probably in 3 hours' time, I say, oh, we're just checking in. Have you been able to get through to this? Are you stuck? Do you need my help in this? So, sort of being open also. So, and of course, I put in message if it's remote. Of course, if it's physical, it's most likely possible. I'll walk over to them and say, hey, you having fun? Let's go have lunch. Things like that. And then we'll talk it over lunch. If you're still stuck, I make it my post lunch actions. So things like that is what I mean by being available. Just ensuring that you are available to, if you're doing important work, to context switch to actually being fully with this new person.
Ah, cool. I see. So, just to reiterate what we're doing right now, we are just discussing what it's like to get someone comfortable in a new environment. So,
Mhm.
like you get into a new team, you're assigned a specific someone that is taking care of you and getting you onboarded and whatnot. So, this is where we are at. So, how about it from a manager's perspective, sir?
You don't call me sir. So yeah, it's a lot more different from manager's perspective because this person is your responsibility as a manager. So as a manager, the success of this new employee is also your success, and their failure is is your failure. So as a manager, it is wholly your responsibility to ensure that this new employee feels comfortable working with you and working with other team members and working also with the extended team in the organization. That
Hmm.
is one of the core things you should make them feel in their first day, in their first week. And I think for an employee, for a manager rather, there should be a team onboarding playbook that is embedded in the wider organization playbook. So, because of course you set the metrics and success criteria for your own team as a manager. So, you want to have things like discussions. Ideally, for the first day, will be what is expected of them, what the team looks like, their coding standards, what you expect of this employee, how we collaborate, the different teams channel or Slack channels or whatever IM platform you use to communicate if it's remote work, ensuring they have access to the right tools and most especially their machine. I think for a developer, the machine is very, very
Super
important.
important. Yeah.
So ensure the machine is ready to go, ensure it's set up the right way, ensure no VPN, no antivirus software will block them from actually getting stuff installed, ensure they have the right specs of machine, Now that's enough talk about machine because I'm a gadget geek. So ensure they have the right machine, ensure they have the right tools installed. If not, or have a documentation on what they should go ahead and install the first day. Walk them through the kind of trainings they would be getting, at least in all those HR training platforms, guide them through if they need help. But of course, mostly HR will send them a list of things they need to do. But of course, emphasize it with them also. Say, hey, your first week, you probably are not expected to be touching production environments if your work has to do with that, because we don't want you dropping a database and
Mm.
getting fired on your first day. So it's your responsibility to ensure that they have all their tools, they are connected to the right people. But of course, their first point of contact then is you and then their body. And then of course introduce them to your immediate team, maybe even have a team meeting on that day when they first join so they can actually see faces if possible. Of course, if possible, then of course introduce them to the wider team. Maybe it's in the company culture to send a welcome email. It should be send a welcome email, most ideally on the first day, because to be honest, if an employee doesn't see that general welcome email on their first, they'll be like, what the hell am I doing here? Because they want to see it on first day. Oh, welcome this person to the team. And I think most especially once they join, they should be having messages in the inbox to actually go through already. So ensuring they get set up properly, introduce them to the company, and also you actually, if it's a physical one, taking them to meet the stakeholders. Say, hey, this is the engineering manager, this is the DevOps lead, this is this person, this is what they do. They've been here for X number of years. If you're stuck with this is the person you speak to. And if it's virtual, of course, you can also do that. Set up communication channels, ensure you are also open, just like a buddy. So you are like a super buddy in this case. But of course, their success is dependent on how you treat them also. So you discuss the company culture also, because that is not just the job of the HR. Discuss the company culture, how people work together, logistics also. If you're sending the computer to them, ensure it arrives on their first day, latest. If they are coming to pick it up, ensure it's ready when they arrive. So maybe you need to talk to IT to say, hey, make sure this person's machine is configured by the time they get here. And of course, a welcome package. Every employee loves a welcome package, even if it's a very cheap one.
Swags.
Stickers, notepads,
Hmm.
you know what? Well, for me at this age and time, I don't exactly dig swags anymore. But if I get it, I appreciate it. But I don't especially look forward to it. But that's just me anyway. I've grown older now. Of course, send the new year announcement. Also set up what you also want to set up is a recurring catch up with this new employee, at least for the very first few days. Every day for the next 5 days, 10 days. Set up a recurring meeting with them to just have a check in. Or if daily is too much, maybe it's an overkill for you, make it weekly. One on one to just say, hey, how's it going? How can I help? How are you catching on with this? And of course, you should be able to set, I mentioned expectations earlier on. You should then be able to set, hey, this is what we expect of you as an employee. So you set the goals for the year. If it's the beginning of the year, set the goals for what they expect to be done by the time the fiscal year ends. So if you have a company stand up, ensure you invite Sugar. I'll be back now. Okay.
Yeah.
If you have daily stand ups, ensure they're invited to the meetings they are supposed to be in, daily stand ups, weekly catch ups, retro meetings, sprint planning, all those things. Ensure they're included there. If they need to be added to a distribution list, ensure they're added there. And as a manager, you are the one who would then assign the body to this person. And
Very
of
important.
course, the first month, there should be a check in also. So of course you have the daily check-ins, but of course there should be after 1 month. Say, hey, of course if they're still there, they should still be there. Um, that weekly monthly check-in is to say, hey, you spent your first month here. What do you feel of the company? Have a feedback
Hmm.
already in place where you can ask them what they feel so far, what they think could be better, what has gone well, what has gone amazingly well, what things they think they could change, or any blockers they might have had, how they can help
To
remove those
fix them.
blockers. Of course, in
Mhm.
your weekly check-ins, you would have talked through those things also, but have a comprehensive review in about a month's time. And of course, I think mostly for me also, which I think is essential also, is you don't wait till it's a month, 2 months, 3 months when their probation is supposed to be over to start now asking the questions. Ask the questions from the start so you are able to actually solve those blockers before it's that time to review their probation and everything. And of course, get the feedback. The feedback is important on how the employee feels also.
So, how would you use that feedback?
The feedback mainly is to see if they feel good being here as an employee, or if they are not digging it at all. So if they feel good, they'll probably have some things that probably has pissed them off. Maybe just one, or maybe none. So the feedback is mainly to reflect as a manager, and if it's something that is beyond your control as the manager, you can pass it on to the powers that be to say, hey, I think this needs fixing in the organization. So this my employee can be productive to ensure we are profitable as a company.
Yeah. And this is still from the manager's perspective, like final questions. Um, do you have any expectations from someone that is onboarding? As a manager, is there any expectation from your side?
I think mainly an employee, someone on onboarding should be coming with an open mindset. They should be willing to listen and understand first. Of course, they should ask questions, but of course, they should ask questions and listen for the answers. Take notes because those notes will actually guide you through the steps. And also, I think most importantly for them, I expect them to be able to ask questions. Of course, I should, as a manager, have the best practice handbook for them to use, but then I expect them to ask questions about these things. So, you said I can get access to this here, but then I click it, it's not working. It's not. I don't expect you to just give up. Come and ask me the questions. If you get stuck, come to me. Don't be angry and say nothing. Come to me. Let's try to solve it together. Then, if I can't solve it, I escalate as a manager.
Mm. So, uh, there's that, and I think the final one I have here is, normally when people are hired, they're like you have different levels, right? Like
Yep.
you probably hired like a intern, a junior, a mid-level, or senior person, and you have to manage these people, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you have uh is there like, do you think there has to be a sort of differentiation as to how these people are treated, or the expectations from each of these roles during onboarding? Do you think there has to be like different expectations, or should all of them be treated as a whole?
Uh,
What's your
I,
perspective?
I think number one, as a manager, culturally treat everyone equally.
Hmm.
But now, in terms of the expectation of their job function,
No, no, not really their job function. They're not working. Well, they are working, but like, during the onboarding process, reaching out to people,
the process should
doing
be the
stuff.
same.
Yeah, like, do you have like specific expectations from each of them as to how they would take the onboarding? Is there a different expectation, or do you just treat everyone as a whole?
Um,
Or
of
just
course,
basically, what do you think
every
is
person
better?
will come with their different personalities. That's one. And as a manager, as a people manager, it is important to understand everyone will come with those set of uniqueness. So you should be able to adapt to their uniqueness. as long as it fits the company culture.
Huh. It's a good one. So basically treating everyone in a case by case basis.
Definitely.
Ah,
That's what being a manager is really. Managing the people.
yeah. So it's beyond the technicalities and
Yeah,
more
it's way
from
beyond the
a
technicality. It's more about the personality fixes.
yeah.
We call it fixes.
And so basically treating everyone during the onboarding in a case by case basis and then trying to make sure that they are all comfortable based off of what you've perceived this person's personality to be and how it aligns with the company culture,
Yeah,
right?
definitely.
This is hoping you didn't hire an asshole. Because of course if you're the manager and you're onboarding someone, chances are you were involved in the hiring process, right?
Yeah, a great level of chance, yeah.
Yeah.
As long as they're not a douchebag, they should be fine. But if they are, then of course they probably wouldn't feel the company culture. And since it's
Yeah.
their probation period, they can leave early.
Yeah. Or you can try to give feedback. I mean,
Yeah, you can try
eh,
to groom them to fit. But of course, as a manager, it's a call you'll have to make at some point if you want to keep them or let them go.
yeah, because it might just have been some hiring mistake.
It's a
But
possibility.
I don't see how people are gonna miss that. But yeah, I mean, I guess some people are good at
Some
masking
people
certain
form
parts of
until
them.
the end, and then they get there,
Yeah,
and then they show their true colors.
and then you see it's a different person altogether. Yeah. All right. So thank you very much, Mr. Dara,
Thank
for
you for
being on the
having me.
show. It was nice having you on the show.
My
Like
pleasure.
I mentioned, I'm absolutely stealing this show and I'm not giving it
I gave
back.
it to you, dude.
Yeah.
You take it
I
and run
hope I eventually do. I don't think I will, no.
it.
Yeah. Anyways, it was fun. Thank you, our viewers and listeners, for keeping up, and we'll see you again and hear from you again in the next episode of this Dev Life.
Goodbye.
So keep safe and goodbye.